Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on another video. If you are new, please take a moment out to support your girl down below. Hit the subscribe button, ring that alarm, and sound off in the comments so I know that you're here and I know you're watching. I'm going to be talking to you about the top 5 reasons that I think you're not getting the moisture that you need. So, number 1, you moisturize your hair once a week. And I know that this is going to spark an outrage, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion and the things that I've learned over the course of, the last, I would say, few years, really diving into my natural hair care routine and journey. Your body is comprised of 70 to 80% water. It needs regular replenishment. Your hair is no different. And moisturizing one time per week, think about that from the perspective of water has to be replenished within your body on a daily basis. Why would you not think that your hair requires the same care? So that's the first reason. Number 2, you're not drinking enough water. And I know there are people that like to say, oh, I hate water, I hate the flavor of it. Water doesn't have a flavor. Water has a purpose, right? That is to keep our bodies hydrated, to make sure that, we're not losing too much water content from our natural makeup. And essentially, the way the body operates is, even though, let's say you're someone that doesn't drink a lot of water, your body is still able to survive because you have stores. Your body stores certain nutrients in different places throughout the body, right? And ultimately, what happens when you're deficient in something, your body starts to draw on those stores and it affects things. It comes from things like your extremities. Your hair is one of your extremities. So I'll share a personal experience with you. I am someone that has always been anemic. And, I went through a period in my life where I was suffering severe anemia due to excessive blood loss. And one of the things that affected me, I had depleted my iron stores. If you know anything about, iron, you have you have what they call your hemoglobin levels, your hematocrits, and then you also have the ferritin stores, which are your iron sources. That ferritin store is supposed to be at a level of 100 or above. Mine at its lowest point was a 2. I'm saying this because ultimately what was happening is my body was drawing any iron out of my nails, out of my hair, and, out of my other extremities. And ultimately what that did was it created dry, brittle hair. I had dry, brittle nails, fingernails, and toenails, and water is no different. Other minerals are no different. If your body is lacking something that you are not replenishing it with on a daily basis, it is going to tap into those stores, and your hair is not exempt. So make sure that you're drinking enough water. Number 3. The products you are invested in, sis, they are not invested in you. I like to use the analogy of being in a bad relationship. Your hair is telling you one thing, you hear something else. You see all the red flags, but you're ignoring them. And ultimately, your hair is the one that is paying the price. Listen to your strands. Listen to your hair. Pay attention to what it's doing. If you feel like you're looking for moisture and you have this product that is claiming all of this moisture, but when you use it, you hear either squeaky clean or your hair does not feel hydrated, that product is not doing what you think it's doing. So don't be afraid to divest from those products that really aren't doing what they need to do for your hair. Number 4. The technique that you are using is not the best technique to get your hair to absorb products, right? So one of the things that I've learned over the course of my natural journey, and it actually took me a really long time to learn it, was how to get my hair to absorb moisture. And ultimately, that is really what I found the trick to be with low porosity hair. For me, it starts at the detangling process. What when I found the pre-poo that I think hydrates my hair the best. It starts the hydration process from the pre-poo process. Going into the shower, the technique for me is making sure that the water is warm to hot, which is essentially hot enough for my hair strands to not just open, but to remain open through the entire wash process, so that everything that I'm trying to get in there as far as that initial like hydration and, you know, getting the water underneath that cuticle layer, that is the technique that works for me. What adds to that is, yes, doing the deep conditioning process under some sort of steam or heat, and or covering my hair with a shower cap and then putting a really tight fitted, you know, scarf or, you know, like the slap cap over it, so that that heat can really, you know, penetrate, allow the deep conditioner to penetrate my hair. And once I do that, you know, you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, you should rinse the deep conditioner out with cold water so that it can seal in that moisture. You know, you don't want the cuticle to get fatigued for being open too long. That may be true if you have medium porosity hair. That may be true if you have high porosity hair. For me, as a low porosity girl, I have found that that is not something that works for me. When I go in to rinse my deep conditioner out, now what I will do is turn the water dial down a little bit, so I'm not using as hot water as I would use when washing and doing the detangling conditioning of my hair, but I still am using warm water. And that's because, again, that is what's going to allow me to get the water into my hair. And then the final part of that technique is, you know, I have to, and I will say I've found the best way for me to really start that layering of that added hydration. So once that water is absorbed into my hair, layering the leave-in inside the shower. And then once I put it in, I twist my hair up in each section and then I cover it. That allows that leave-in to not only seep into that beyond that cuticle layer, it allows it to penetrate and not be full of residue. So it's not sitting on top of my hair. It's actually soaking into the strands. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when it comes to trying to layer and add moisture is adding product after product after product on top of their hair without allowing the product to actually absorb in. That is something, as a low porosity girl, you just have to have patience with. You have to be willing to take that time to stroke and smooth that product in. Otherwise, if the product is sitting on your hair, you're just wasting product. You're not even doing, you're not moisturizing, you're not hydrating. Girl, you're just wasting product. So make sure that the technique that you are using is right for you. That doesn't mean you can't pull from, you know, a technique that you may see me do. Doesn't mean you can't pull from a technique that you may see another influencer do. But at the end of the day, try it. See if it actually works for you. If it doesn't work, move on. But institute the things that actually work for you and that give your hair the best opportunity to absorb water and moisturizing products as needed. Number 5, and why the final reason I think a lot of people struggle with dry strands is the hair strand simply is not being hydrated during the wash process. So there is a difference between hydration and moisture. If you don't believe me, pull out the dictionary, look it up. Hydration is your hair's ability to absorb water. That means getting the water inside the actual strand. To moisturize means to make less dry. Moisturization essentially is only effective if your hair is already hydrated. You cannot take a dry strand and put product on it, and you can probably do this if you're high porosity. I don't know. But for me, as a low porosity girl, when I have put product on a dry strand and my hair was not hydrated, guess what? My hair still felt dry, and it was dry within a few hours. So you have to figure out how you can get that water to absorb into your hair, into those cuticle, into the, I believe it's called the medulla, underneath that cuticle layer, and stay there. That is the only way that your hair is going to stay hydrated, not moisturized, stay hydrated to a place where when you're adding that moisture more than once a week, because once a week is not enough, more than once a week, so that when you add that layer of moisture on top to combat that dry feeling, or that maybe that, you know, the little bit of moisture that the atmosphere may have taken out your hair, you're coupling that with the hydration from the inner layer of the hair strand, so that the hair continues to have the moisture that it needs. That's my feedback on, you know, some of the things that I think are really the issues when it comes to how to get your hair fully hydrated and to keep it moisturized, and some of the tips that, you know, I think can help anyone who has low porosity hair like myself, and or who has just been struggling with moisture. You know, the only thing that beats a fail is to not have tried at all. Let me know what you guys think down below about these tips and, you know, these things that I've said in the video. What are some other things you think that pose challenges for keeping your hair hydrated and moisturized? And let me know your overall opinions down in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I really want to spark the engagement. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.